How about 125? Save my breath. $125 bid into $125 purchase. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the declaration.
Be a good foundation for her to go from. I think the new face that's going to be joining us is, well, I shouldn't say new.
I love wilderness. I love the clean air and the clean water that allows me to watch the peaceful tranquility of wilderness ecosystems unfold.
A former biologist and an advocate for wilderness, I have given small venue presentations to thousands of Alaska visitors. This time, I carry a handheld video camera and I present a story that shows human-wildlife interactions in their vast complexity.
This year, I spent a season with Big Mama and her family, including Little Mocha against a tree, in a summer filled with drama. And includes a mischievous bear I call Carver.
For me, I'm someone who studies bears and I appreciate the places where bears are. And it's about way more than just what bears are. It's about the habitat that they're in and the clean water that they represent and the fresh air that they represent. And what I always say is what's good for people is good for bears. So if you've got a place that's healthy enough for a viable population of bears, it's also providing all these amazing other needs that we need as humans, that our requirements as humans.
Setting up in a little remote cove, I park and then I watch. Little Mocha sits with her siblings in the middle. They are first-year cubs, and the salmon have not yet arrived. The springtime flowers have come into bloom, yet they are entirely reliant on Big Mama for their food and nourishment. Little Mocha plays with her feet in the cave, while Mama scans the water down below, then goes down to check to see yet if any salmon have arrived. For first-year cubs, mortality is very high, either from predation from other bears, malnutrition, or disease. The odds are never good. While Little Mocha and her family continue to see if salmon have yet arrived, far up above, Carver warily and cautiously keeps his distance. Still, no salmon, yet Mama is trying, and the cubs, soggy and wet, huddle on a rock, and little Mocha snuggles in a little bit closer to try to stay warm.
With no salmon, there's plenty of time for Carver to get in a good scratching. And later, when he sees the craft in which I ride, curiously he rushes to the edge, only to get distracted.
Right now, the only things showing up in droves are mosquitoes.
I mean, animals, bears are great symbols. We need symbols. I'm fortunate to be in the field of photography where I capture images, as do a lot of my esteemed colleagues, that connect with people. Because I think people really respect the written word, but more so, the visual image connects with humans. And a good, strong, connective photo, one that maybe captures the mood of an animal like a wolf or the glance of a bear, suddenly they connect with that. And so I use those photos to help champion the preservation of environments. And that's probably the greatest honor I could do, is to contribute to that.
In Sitka, boats sit idle. The salmon fishing fleet is awaiting the summer arrival of salmon runs. But the cruise line industry's Alaska destinations are in full swing. If you visit Alaska aboard one of these elegant liners, you will have opportunity for cultural tours. You will see incredible Alaska scenery, and you'll also witness majestic Alaskan wildlife. On land, you can go to the Bear Rescue Center called the Fortress of the Bear.
We have the little...
I mean, we know that the wilderness areas are where our cleanest water is and where our healthiest environment is, where people haven't been to kind of muck things up. And so over time, we might be grateful to save these large swaths of land for not only the bears, but for our own sake.
At this remote bear hunting camp, there are a lot of chores to get done before the hunters arrive.
What's going on here tonight? Main control. Because we have our ATV, our amphibious vehicle, a stuck ATV.
An itinerant tramp steamer has been hired to bring in building supplies. Several vehicles are hitched together to haul up the vibrating compactor, dropped off by the tramp steamer in order to compact the large gravel runway to allow larger planes to land before the season starts, in addition to smaller ones.
I've spent a lot of time with elders in the last few years, and I've learned from them some very important values, and some of those values include protecting the land, and valuing our children. And so I believe those go hand in hand, because one, our land is where we hunt and we fish and we live from the land. The land provides for us. We have a relationship with the land.
Big Mama searches for salmon that she knows should arrive soon, but there is no hint of their presence yet. A black bear mother with her 2 young cubs scours the edges, also looking for salmon, for food, for berries, anything to try to keep her family surviving through their first year. While Little Mocha and her siblings follow Big Mama looking for food, Carver wakes up from a nap and goes looking for his own. There has to be an easier way. A young grizzly with nothing to eat looks wistfully at the young ducklings as Mama continues to tend to her brood. And Little Mocha stands between her siblings while they chew vegetation. At last, the salmon return to the rivers and streams in which they were born, all over Sitka and surrounding areas, and then later throughout the state. Their multitudes are a sight to see. Boats are getting ready, and fishermen jockey for position, and then they head out to sea. Down at the Alaska Marine Ferry Terminal, a fisherman tries his hand. No luck. Residents at the Bear Rescue Sanctuary have no problem securing a food supply. Back in Little Mocha's territory, the salmon there have returned, and the waters are abundant with their presence. Now when Little Mocha's mom jumps in the water, there are fish that scatter. And then she catches her first salmon of the year. Little Mocha and her siblings watch Big Mama catch yet another salmon. Carver makes a small noise, startling Mama while she urges Little Mocha and her siblings to rush to safety. As soon as she realizes it was only Carver, she quickly returns. And Carver has quickly made his way up the hillside, where he retreats to the safety at the top of a very tall tree. After waiting his turn, Carver comes down and catches his own salmon. Big Mama continues to catch salmon, and they are abundant.
While I stand on the dinner table and Mama views me from her cave, I look down and see it has been a slaughter. Mostly, the bears have been eating just the brains of the salmon, because that is the most nutritious part. And later, she looks down and I can tell she's not happy that I am there, as well as Carver. The Alaska Salmon Fishery is a world-class management program. Everywhere the salmon are occurring, people participate in its harvest.
This guy did all kinds of crazy stuff.
And the Sitka fishing fleet begins to bring home their harvest. The salmon are offloaded at a pork processor. And very quickly, salmon, fresh or frozen, will arrive at your market.
For me, the wilderness is all about the native species of plants, crystal clear water, and the native animals that are here. Hunters enjoy these wild places and these wild animals and wild things. So many people today feel that hunters are takers, but in reality, hunters give back. They give back tenfold to the environment. Backpackers use these areas. Fishermen use these areas. So many people enjoy the outdoors, but very few pay for it. Hunters pay for the outdoors. We buy hunting licenses, we buy outfitter services, we pay for airplane rides into these remote areas.
They left, probably a couple
At bear
hours
hunting
ago at
camp,
least.
it's a constant monitoring of hunters, guides, and the ever-changing weather.
I just think it's funneling through the mountains a little differently.
A hunter and his guide spot some bear tracks in the sand. After scouring the landscape, searching for a bear, and finding none, they return to camp for lunch, and after a bite to eat, receive instruction.
You're gonna shoot him through the lungs and break his shoulder, maybe hit him in the heart. I mean, you know, some guys will tell you to shoot him right behind the shoulder, but if you just hold, you know, shoulder to back, right? I mean, you don't want to shoot him too far forward, you know what I mean?
Right. So maybe a little to the right.
But okay.
And then adjusting scopes, sighting in rifles, and taking the first practice shot. For me, I just prefer to sit quietly in nature and contemplate.
People have gone into nature for self-reflection. It's found in all human cultures. All spiritual traditions have a core of people affiliating with nature, going away from the community, the village, away from civilization to get in touch with their higher beliefs and their higher calling. So again, this is a basic sort of physiological thing that happens. But of course, when you have that extra space in the back of your mind to reflect, and of course, when you're in a place where you can feel your direct connection with the forces of the universe, the pace of the sunrise and the sunset and the weather, the tides, you're tapped into a much larger matrix of existence.
I see the black bear mother again, and she is down to just one cub. she has abandoned her little runt, left to survive on his own. An unknown male shows up, foaming at the mouth, and causes consternation. And then he hears the cub. By now, high in a tree, yet can't stay there forever. Little Mocha and her family flee. A marauding bear is not safe for anyone. Carver senses danger and predictably climbs a tree. The big bear and the abandoned little cub disappear. Guides and hunters prepare for a predicted storm and get ready to head out. Carver is run off yet again. Big Mama's family is learning how to catch salmon. Little Mocha has not yet quite got the hang of catching her own salmon. Content to just rub her head on a small snag. Little Mocha and her family are doing well. They relax when they wish, eat when they wish, play when they wish. It is a beautiful, beautiful season.
Clean water, clean air, it benefits all of us, all wild things as well as people. A comment I would make for you is that a nation's wealth is based in its natural resources. So the better care you take of those resources, certainly the better quality of life you're bound to have. Of course, resource users obviously are not preservationists. They want to use that resource in a wise fashion. They want it to be there next year and the year after. And I think wildlife enforcement plays an integral role in wildlife management. Without enforcement, wildlife regulations, well, biologists make management plans and goals, and in order to effectively have a management plan or goal, it has to be put down in regulation as to how they're going to manipulate that species. Well, now it falls on wildlife enforcement people like myself, this department, to make sure that those regulations are followed. So we're looking for compliance. That's you know, that's our greatest goal.
The Alaska Wildlife Troopers make an unannounced visit to check licenses, sealing certificates, and to make sure everything is in order. Master bow hunter Tom Miranda was just preparing to leave.
Sure. Yeah. Was it? Okay.
Tom has been successful in his hunt.
I think they abandoned you. Just go off through this knob on the back of the scope.
That was
Everything checks out, and the Alaska Wildlife Trooper prepares to leave.
You know, should we care if the bear's killed? You know, why should we care? You know, just, I mean, young kids, boy, and their mind that's when their mind get to working then. And say, yeah, I don't know who owns a bear. And you got to get them thinking. And they'll start coming up with some names. I don't know what they would be. But I know that if they get that, you're working your way up to the point where you're going to say, hey, they're yours. Yeah, did you know? Yeah, they're yours. Yeah, I know you haven't been feeding them or coming to see them, but someone else has. But you're a part owner of these. What do you think we should do with them? You know, I mean, if you can just get them engaged, it's amazing how young people rise to the occasion, and you just look there and just say, gee whiz, I didn't know that they would even be thinking that way.
For the past few days, little Mocha has appeared to have no energy.
Don't speak to me this way.
She stands weakly,
Don't ever
uninterested,
let me say,
and barely able to walk.
Don't leave me again. Don't leave me again.
She lays down, obviously feeling very ill. Later, I see that she has dragged her tiny body up to a small cave where she has collapsed, watched by Big Mama. While the camera was off, little Mocha drags her body to the back of the cave and dies. When the coast is clear, I head up to the cave. I crawl into it, where I find Little Mocha's body, and I give her final respects. Out on the floodplain, Carver is being chased off, and Mama does not seem to be in a very good mood. An exhausted Big Mama charges back down the hill after chasing the intruder off. And after doing a quick scan for safety, Big Mama quickly gets back to the job of fishing for salmon. Now down to just 2 cubs to feed, it appears that one of them senses that something has changed. Carver answers an age-old question and does his part in returning salmon-derived nitrogen back to the environment.
See, in this one, there's about a 3 to 4 year lag after the salmon come back to when you see the signature in the tree ring. So what this is saying is that those carcasses lying on the ground in fall that are taken there by the bears, right? Those carcasses gradually decay. Some of the carcasses are eaten by maggots, some are eaten by beetles, some of them are eaten by bears, which crap out, which urinate, etc., etc. Well, there's about a 3 to 4 year lag where that nitrogen is first sequestered by soil, by fungi, by root systems, by mosses, by insects, etc. And eventually that makes its way into the trees, right?
At salmon hatcheries around North America, a portion of the wild salmon returning to spawn are divided off for their own eggs to provide brood stock for another generation of salmon to supplement the naturally occurring wild stocks. Females provide their eggs, and sperm is added from the males, fertilizing the eggs.
This is there's volumetric ways, and this is how we do it. This is called a hog trough, and it gives us how many eggs are in an ounce, and then we measure them out for like a liquid ounce. Right now they're just living off that egg sac. They'll absorb that egg sac and then we'll move them out into we'll start them on feed. We'll start feeding them.
And those are total?
Yep.
wild hatchery salmon are marked in a number of ways. When the wild broodstock salmon are mature enough, they are released back into the wild to feed wildlife, people, and keep ecosystems healthy, completing their cycle of life. Life continues on, the black bear mother with her lone cub growing quickly. Little Mocha's remaining two siblings and Big Mama have adjusted acceptingly of my presence. The days are getting shorter and the leaves will soon drop. The bears return to eating vegetation and life returns to a comfortable rhythm with Carver napping in a snag just above. The salmon feast is over and an eagle on the snag watches as Big Mama and her remaining family head off into the woods. It is in wilderness where I am most comfortable. It is in wilderness where I feel I have come home.
So what are you rescuing?
Rescuing a little bear cub from, well, the rescue already happened. Fortress the Bear already rescued it. And we have a facility in Bozeman, Montana called Montana Grizzly Encounter. She's actually coming back to Montana with us.
How old is the cub?
4 months.
What happened to it that she needed to be rescued?
I don't think anybody really knows what happened to her exactly.
Just kind of found her wandering around?
Wandering around orphaned in Angoon. And some folks gathered her up and brought her here. And she's these guys have gotten her healthy and now she's ready for a new home.
Yeah, I don't know that hookworms are a major player in bears.
I get to spend some time behind the scenes with the rescued grizzly bear cub, little Pandora, who is being picked up by Casey, and here she is being given a vet's clearance to travel before she goes with him to his bear sanctuary in Montana.
Some blood.
Well. She says, "What are you doing out here in my place with these wild-looking shoes on?" Hey, kiddo. Might slap it again. Just
tote a bear cub, film of 11.
I won't be surprised if I see red on my foot. But it will be my red and not hers.
A few miles away from where Big Mama hangs out, I come across another grizzly bear mother with her 3 cute cubs hanging out on the shoreline while she snorkels and blows bubbles. And then some movement from a hole near the edge catches my eye. What is it? I know most of the bears in the area, and the scrappy, streetwise behavior of this yearling black bear cub with no mother around leaves no doubt this was the abandoned bear cub. He has made it. As the sun sets on another summer season, I am surprised to learn that I am invited to speak at a wilderness convention, and I meet somebody who kind of sums things up.
If there was anything that you wanted somebody to know about the importance of intact wilderness ecosystems, what would you want to tell them?
I think that I've been so fortunate. I've spent so much of my life in wild places and I understand the tremendous importance, the biodiversity, the interconnectedness of all life forms in the wilderness. And it's pretty shocking how we are, one by one, eating away these last wildernesses. It's so desperately important to keep them for our children, our great-grandchildren. I would be devastated to be born in 100 years and look back and say, but there were all those wonderful animals and they've gone. Why did they let them go? How could they have let our future go like this? Just because of selfishness and greed and having the wrong values, putting too much emphasis on money and economy and stuff and more stuff and more stuff. We need the wilderness for our spiritual development, and we owe it to the future to save it now.
We have to take care of our Mother Earth, and the way that we do this is our Yupik way of being, and that's how we take care of things, respecting the land, respecting the water, the air, and all the living things on it. Thank you for watching.
Them bears was awesome!